Hey there, and welcome to our Ivana Models Podcast. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about some of the most common sexual fantasies that men have. From threesomes to BDSM, we'll be exploring what makes these fantasies so appealing and what they might say about a person's desires and needs. We'll also be talking about how to share your fantasies with your partner. So, get comfortable and let's dive in. Let's start with one of the most popular sexual fantasies, threesomes. Whether it's with two women or with another man, threesomes can be a really exciting and fulfilling experience for many men. Like, the idea of being the center of attention and having two partners to please can be incredibly arousing. But there's more to it than just the physical pleasure. Threesomes can also be a way to explore different aspects of your sexuality and try new things safely and consensually. Another common sexual fantasy is BDSM, which stands for bondage and discipline, dominance and submission, and sadism and masochism. It can sound a bit intimidating, but BDSM is a highly erotic and satisfying experience for those who are into it. It's the power dynamic between a dominant and a submissive partner that can be a big turn on. And also, if you use certain restraints and other BDSM equipment, it can add an extra layer of excitement to the experience. Of course, it's important to remember that BDSM should always be practiced with consent and respect for your partner's boundaries. Some men get turned on by the idea of watching others or being watched while having sex. This can take the form of voyeurism, where a person enjoys watching others engage in sexual activities, or exhibitionism, where a person gets aroused by being watched while engaging in sexual activities. Both of these fantasies can be thrilling and empowering as they allow a person to explore their sexuality in a more public or exhibitionist way. Finally, let's talk about role-playing. It's really a fun and exciting way to explore different aspects of your personality and desires. Whether it's dressing up as a sexy nurse or a dominant CEO, role-playing allows you to step outside of your everyday self and take on a new persona. This can be especially exciting for men who may not feel comfortable expressing their desires in their day-to-day. Now, let's talk about how you can share your sexual fantasies with your partner. This can be a very intimate experience, but it can also deepen your connection and create new avenues of pleasure and exploration. But how do you go about sharing these fantasies in a safe and respectful way? First and foremost, it's important to establish a foundation of trust and open communication with your partner. This means creating a safe space where you can talk openly and honestly about your desires and needs without the fear of judgment or rejection. It's important to approach the conversation with empathy and respect, and to be prepared to listen to your partner's thoughts and feelings as well. They may also have their own fantasies that they may be hesitant to share. It's important to approach the conversation with a sense of curiosity and openness, and to be prepared to compromise and find common ground. One way to approach the conversation is to start with a question like, have you ever fantasized about doing something new or different in bed? This can open up the conversation and allow you both to share your desires and interests. It's really important to be clear about your boundaries and limitations, and to always prioritize consent and communication throughout the whole process. Remember, sharing your fantasies with your partner can be a vulnerable and intimate experience, but it can also be incredibly rewarding and fulfilling. You can deepen your connection and explore new avenues of pleasure and intimacy together. So, there we go. Some of the most common sexual fantasies that men have. Of course, everyone's desires and preferences are unique, and there's no right or wrong way to explore your sexuality. The most important thing is to communicate openly and honestly with your partner, and to always prioritize consent and respect. By approaching the conversation with empathy and curiosity, you can create a safe and intimate space for exploring your desires and needs together. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you for the next one. So until then, take care.